Hi everyone, Namaste from Bug Studio, Namaste from BUG Naari. Good evening everyone. Hi Disha. That time of the week where we invite amazing and most progressive women in the business domain. Hi Pawan. Hi Geet. Welcome to BUG Naari. We are again yet here at our hit and smashing discussion that we do with all our BUG Naaris. And today we are here for a very amazing lady. Her name is Tanvi Gandhi. Let's understand what she does. So Tanvi happens to be a producer, founder at House of TeeGee Productions and Advisory Group. She's also a member of Sholini University, acknowledged as one of the most powerful young ladies in the segment of executive and line production. She celebrates a career spanning 20 years across distribution houses and top production houses like Yash Raj Films and Phantom Films. She also has a sprouting experience of 5 years at MTV, 3.5 years in news and NDTV. As the first ever female EP at Yash Raj Films, her impressive filmography today includes hit Hindi feature films like Super 30, Urta Punjab, London, Paris, New York, Bombay Velvet, and Queen. Aren't you guys curious? Who's this lady whom we are going to talk to, who's done almost such smashing projects? She's also a producer of India's first ever female animated comic superhero, Priya Shakti. Apart from this, Tanvi now provides production services internationally through her company in UAE. Her latest film as a producer is LSD2. We can't wait to have her on board. So let me welcome Tanvi Gandhi. Hi, Tanvi. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. I don't know if I've done so many things, but wow, thank you.
welcome to BUG Naari. How are you doing? You're doing good?
If you ask me how am I doing today,
Yes.
Absolutely drenched in work, drowned because my film shortly on April 19th. So,
Okay.
Just the last leg up. Exciting and exhausting.
Okay. Lovely. Yeah. As House of TeeGee Productions. Lovely. How has been the journey? 20 years. I am kind of losing her. Can you please be there?
She got something.
Can everybody see me? Can everybody see? Okay, I got the request once again. Let me just loop her in. Tanvi, are you there? Yes, I got you back.
I'm sorry, I don't know what the problem is with the signal, but here I am. I missed your last question later.
Yeah, I want you to begin with 20 years. How has been your journey?
Yeah, actually, to be honest, it feels extremely overwhelming as well as pretty much unbelievable also. I did come to Bombay exactly 20 years ago, 2004. So I feel older. I feel, wow, I've been on my own in Bombay, trying to do some interesting work, live my dream of working in the movies. It's been absolutely, I would say, the most exciting 20 years of my life. I would not trade it for anything else. And the number of people I've met, the amount of, different experiences I've had being on different sets, and also ranging, I would say, from news, which was NDTV, to MTV, to movies, and, then Yash Raj, Phantom, and then on my own. It's okay. I'm happy.
What drew you to film production?
Sorry, say that again.
What drew you to film producing?
Very interesting question, because at that time when we were that many years younger, honestly, Hital, there was no concept or an idea of film production. I hadn't even studied it, honestly. I was in college and doing English honors, and actually did a lot of plays. What I can say is I used to be on stage for 3 years, with a group called Delhi Music Theatre, where you were beautiful different people who you met first time, and then you would rehearse with them over 3 months, non-stop every day to come up with your show and musical. And I think that whole idea of meeting people, the same set of people every day, and us and our energy creating something, drew me to the idea of creation. But with production, I think I then realized that I like to manage, I like to coordinate, I like to be on top of management, I would say. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to go into film production. Because you have to be extremely responsible, Ethel. Without responsibility, you cannot, and absolutely cannot, take on the role of producer. Because till the last copy of your film, and paperwork and payments and legal and everything that people don't realize is a part of producing. It's not just the script and what we create on set, but it's everything around it as well. So yeah, I think that kind of drew me to production, which was this whole idea of bringing people together to create something.
Lovely. You explained it really well, your journey and how it has been. It's very valid for me now to understand from you that in 2024, how has this role of executive producers and line producers got redefined?
I think if I was to compare it to the time when I came in, well, I have all respect, and they're a part of my fraternity, they're a part of my department, all kinds of production teams and producers and EPs and all. I think we did not have a very structured setup earlier. There were a lot of people who were very good at accounting, were really good at managing things, who ended up growing to be an EP or a line producer because they felt that is what was required. I was very fortunate to have had a great mentor who taught me, or I learned a lot by just observing him. But I feel today it is one of the most important roles in any production. It is the backbone. It is the reason why something stays on track. Whether it's how people feel, whether staying in the budget, what has to be conveyed to people that you face, whether it's a studio or an OTT platform, whether it's crew, whether it's cast, whether it's junior crew. You represent how the experience is going to be for these people who will give minimum 6 months of their lives. And so now I feel there's a lot more paperwork, there's a lot more accountability, there's a lot more exchange and documentation of conversations, and very important, I would say, promises that later can be turned against you. So you try and see if everything kind of stays documented, and all deliveries are met. With the studios coming in the past years, and now the OTT space, you end up being the one point contact for every in terms of all requirements and deliverables. So this role definitely has evolved into one of the key roles, which always was, by the way, the case overseas. Abroad, people, the let's say the top of the hierarchy, not in terms of just importance, I would say, but just in terms of responsibility, actually is the above everybody else, because the final delivery lies with him or her. So, now I feel you have far more people who've lived through this entire experience for the last decade and earlier, and therefore the structuring of it has become much better.
Yeah, it's become more accountable, more methodical in nature, and people at your space and sphere, when they are knowing that you are the single point of contact and holding a project and binding the crew from the technical side to the creative side and all of it together, with the legal dimension to it, with the compliance to it. I mean, kudos, this is really great.
At some point you feel like there is this invisible mountain on your shoulder at all times.
Yeah.
Till a film actually releases. So, but yeah, it's passion drives you, and you often ask yourself, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? But you keep doing it.
Yeah, you keep doing it, because I think when the project sees the light, and then you see the names coming and everybody getting accredited for what they have done, that achievement, it brings that solace to your heart that yes, you were part of it at the topmost level which was required, and you are seeing the fruition in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do realize that you're never going to, and the idea is not to be in the forefront. You're always the backbone. You're always behind. But like you said, the absolute joy of it all becoming real. And I often say this, Hetal, it is something that you create which is beyond you, and it kind of lives on for posterity. It'll live beyond you, your creation, your name, your contribution to any film, any project. And I think that is one of the key reasons why it is an inexplicable passion of creation that people in my industry have world over. It is because you're part of something big beyond you.
Yes. So over this period of the magnificent work and the contribution that you have done, you're now at quite a senior stature. So what are the important skills that you have honed? Because I see a lot of audience which is here live. At the same time, there'll be a lot of people from your domain who are going to listen to you and watch you. I do want some golden nuggets from you where they get to know that if it is executive producer line or line producer line, these are the skills which are required. So let's go a little deep, dissect it.
Yes, I think the most important thing is to be aware of your own level of responsibility. You are not a responsible person, and you do not finish something till the finishing line. Even if there is daily questions of why, or you may not be getting along with people, or you are, unless of course there is a point where you feel this you cannot do because it's a self-respect. That is one of the core things that we need to have, the ability to finish the absolute job. I would say the other very important thing is to be a team person, because filmmaking is the biggest example of teamwork. No single person can say I did it or I made it. Without contribution of the person next to you, it's not going to be possible. And yet, everybody is indispensable. I could be replaced tomorrow and the show will go on. And so that's another very deep understanding that is needed, that I am very important till I am important, and then tomorrow I may not be, and that's that. Yeah, which you kind of learn as you go along.
Right.
You, third, I would really say is overall diligence. Uh, just to be able to constantly stay diligent over all requirements and reasons for it, and to question it also, not just blindly if somebody is asked for it, understand why. And for that, it would be important to read the script for sure, whichever level of production you're doing. It's very important to read the script to understand what are you making first of all, why are you making it, and if there is requirements coming in at your level, which could be junior or senior, you should be able to question why is it needed and what is it that you can offer as a solution that will save the money. Because at the end of the day, all of us, whether we like it or not, are making movies for business, and and therefore budgets have to be always under check. And that will start with all the every level of a production person, every level of a direction person who should know why is that person asking for this. Of course, everybody should be aware of it, but I would want that for my for my production team for sure, to not just blindly give, but ask, sit, and then offer a solution. Because at the end of the day, our job is to give what the creative team wants. You're a support, support department to creative. So I would say then resilience, Hetal. I think the sheer resilience that is needed to make sure the project is sees the end of the tunnel, and also to be on set every day and make sure that it happens. Physical or not, but you're there. People know you're there. I think that's extremely important. The commitment to make sure the job is done 100%. And also, finally, I feel you need to, you will never really get a pat on your back. People are meant to complain. People are always going to have an issue with your production, with your way of doing things, with your way of talking, or how their experience was largely. You just have to take it with a pinch of salt, knowing that I and me and my team, or all of us, did give it our best. I would say that.
Yeah. A thankless job,
Thank
but
you.
still at the top.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. But from day 1 to day 90, to day 180, you're constantly, attached to the project. And people are getting to know that how much tedious is this going to be, at what magnitude it is. I think it is very logical enough for us to tell the audience now that this is very rewarding as well. So what were your rewarding moments that you could explain to us as a film producer?
Uh, reward or success or any kind of such feelings, I feel, or emotions are very subjective, right? But what is rewarding or has been rewarding to me personally, Hetal, has been the fact that coming from Delhi, not knowing a single person in Bombay in the film industry, coming in, knocking on doors, sending blank CVs, and finding my way through very good people, thankfully, very good projects, very good companies. Every step of that has actually been extremely rewarding, because it was unimaginable. I had not known that this is where I would go, or this is where my journey would be. You know what I mean? So every day has been rewarding in that sense. But with regards to like a queen doing so fantastically well, being appreciated at the box office and critically and loved even now 10 years later, and I was the line producer on it, not knowing how this will be. We had a great time making it, but that was like, oh wow, did we just make a film that everybody loves?
Yeah.
And I think after that film is when my parents were like, "Acha, okay, acha tum film mein banati ho, acha ye karti ho." Before that, like, okay, she's in Bombay doing something. We don't know. She's always busy, never picking up the phone. But I think when that film came out, there was a sense of, oh, okay, pride and हमारी बेटी ने भी किया है types. But and I think yeah, I've been very grateful actually for all of it. To be honest, I feel if I didn't have that gratitude, I would be very dejected and extremely under pressure with what I do. But I think with gratitude, I feel like a lot of that I look forward to what else can come in as a reward.
Lovely, lovely. Queen is one such beautiful project that I think every Indian family attaches themselves to the celebration that has happened. I don't see a single, hi Varun, I don't see a single wedding that takes place without having the famous songs and all of it. So lovely to know about that. Okay, one thing I would like to understand from you, you are a film producer as well as an entrepreneur. You seem to have a regular day, but I would like to understand that how do you juggle between the both, and what's your approach in balancing the entire business side of filmmaking and all of it?
This is, I think, one of the most important questions because Hetan, this journey that I took on from being like a freelance producer to an entrepreneur, where I launched my own company last year, and LSD is the first project that we are doing as production services. I did not realize what it is really till you don't go right jumping into entrepreneurship, what it really means. And I think what an incredible decision, I would say, just in terms of the sheer learning of trying to build your company, your brand, trying to make it relevant in place of somebody else. Everybody's hustling, so am I. But just to be able to juggle accounting, legal, pitching for work, delivering something, social media, that's one new layer that has come in where you've got to kind of stay relevant all the time. So I think with entrepreneurship, there is, of course, a deep sense of ownership of, because this is yours. But along with it comes the very, very deep hustle of ensuring the business comes in, and you live up to the standard of why you've launched your company. What is it that you stand for? And I think that communication and that experience, you need to at all levels try and give that to your crew, your own teammates, as well as others. So it's a lot of work, mental and emotional work every day, apart from physical, I feel.
Can you explain a little bit about your business?
So it's a small boutique production house called House of TeeGee Productions, and the idea here is to try and not only give voice to women, but I personally feel voice to anybody who wishes to be heard. I feel the best way forward has to be where we're more and more balanced in our our it doesn't skew too much towards women or men. I would like to have a healthy balance of men and women in my team, in my company, in my crew, because just having one-sided opinion is not the right one. I feel it's healthier to have both. And the idea also is to now try and work with international productions and work on certain projects that I'm trying to build overseas after this one. So let's see. It's evolving. It's an ever-evolving industry, and you need to sort of navigate through that. So I do know at the end of it all, I do want to work with my type of people. That's all. That's my main thing. My tribe.
Nice. Lovely to know that. Lovely to know that. Your tribe. Yes. Then what happens is your work becomes it's just fluid. It's flowing, and
Yes.
you are enjoying passion. So that's very true. So after a long day, what's your guilty pleasure to wind down?
First of all, this long day goes into like deep night. I'm blatantly about. But when I do have some downtime, I end up watching obviously Netflix and some bit of TV, listen to music. I have a great center of friends and family, so a lot of catching up on the phone, a lot of stepping out and hanging out with my friends. So I try and find my ways of at least still socially engaging. I like to socially engage with people. That's what I like to do. And of course, my yoga. I've started on a very serious note. Started yoga. I keep saying I do it, but I do it on my own. But now I have a teacher, so I can say that yoga has started.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, apart from work, when it comes to your family and friends, so how do they consider, how is it like being with friends and family? And how do they treat you when you come after work timings?
So the interesting thing, as you can imagine, is whenever you meet anybody, the first thing is, what is the gossip? They all want to know what's the gossip. Tell me what's happening in Bombay. So I'm just smiling. I'm like, my God. Uh, of course, it's chit chat over a drink or a coffee or whatever. But I think I'm a person very close to my family and my friends as well. So I love to go back to Delhi and spend a lot of time with them, or as much as I can. They often have the complaint of me being on the phone all the time. But I'm hoping that I try and reduce after this project gets delivered, to be honest. But usually, since I come from a large family, there's always laughter and something or the other happening. So I feel happy about being able to actually try and at least live a balanced life with that, because you can imagine how unbalanced our lives are in the industry. That's one thing that I must tell you. That's one thing, Hetal, that I feel I wish along the way of these 20 years I had been told that let it not consume you so much. Work on your emotional and mental health, because it is extremely taxing. So that's something that I will probably tell everybody, younger and starting out, my age group, younger, older, that let's just take time out to give ourselves a slight mental break.
Yeah, the recharge time that they call it.
Yes, the recharge time, the slow time, or the time to say, after this I may not pick up the phone, or like I will not answer. That kind of discipline somewhere we'll have to sort of put in our own lives first. Yeah.
So one thing I'm happening to realize while discussing with you, that you're a workaholic. You just eat, sleep, breathe, work. Audience would love to know that how is Tanvi as a person? What's your personality? Are you an extrovert, introvert? What kind of a personality do you have?
I don't think I'm an extrovert, very honestly. I think I'm a social person. I like to meet people. I like to engage with people. But I would say I'm more of an introvert. I do choose the people I connect with and how much I really want to connect with them. I think if people were to tell you, they think I'm deep. They think I'm sometimes too emotional, and they also know that I feel that I would stand by them. I think that is something that I value also. That if a person, this is the person I decide is my friend, then I'm friend for life. And I also am somebody who's I like to know about your story. I want to hear. I want to listen to you, and I think I'm a good listener as well. So and the rest of the things you evolve. I like to dance sometimes. I like to listen to some music and go out and eat. All of us like to do that. But yeah, just a regular girl, really.
Oh, yes, regular girl with not so regular intellect, exclusive intellect. So while we were talking, I have, I think, a friend here. Her name is Nidhi. She has a question for an executive producer like you, that what's your favorite or a go-to movie?
Wow, that's a nice one. But yeah, I think I always think of this very much. It's one of my favorite films. It's a film called Masoom that was made by Shekhar Kapoor. I don't know why, but I find that film so heartwarming and so beautifully made that I think I can watch that anytime. It's just so beautifully crafted. Also because I'll tell you, it is a complex film. It's not, it is talking about reality. It's talking about uncomfortable things, but it's said so beautifully, and that is life and that is reality. And I feel like we often don't discuss things that are, actually life and normal, but we kind of make everything very sugar coated and extremely saccharine. But that's why I like that film so much. A very tough situation between a couple and kids was just so beautifully handled. Amazing, really.
Yeah, it's a vintage classic movie that I think every filmmaker, probably somebody related to filmmaking, should definitely watch it. I mean, that's quite a delightful thing that
The craft and the music, all of it, too. Very, very beautifully weaved.
Put together the narration, the storytelling, the casting, fantastic.
Yes.
One of the amazing Indian cinema movies, you would call,
Exactly. Even though it was a remake, but I think it was a very well done film for an Indian thing.
Yeah, right. So we're coming towards the end of our segment. There are a couple of questions which we really want to know from you.
Right.
Whom do you idealize so much? You did discuss earlier that it's my mentor, because of which I could groom myself to what I am today. So what do you admire the most or aspire about your mentor that you could share with us?
So, whether it was my mentor or anybody else who I learned from or aspired to learn from or just observed, I think the key qualities really were of, how secure they were in their position. That all they wanted to do was to train you so well that one day they could take over your, you know what I mean? Very less. You don't need to make people who are so giving in their knowledge and patience and experience. Just to be able, because they see something in you, they spot a spark, and they are waiting and completely honing you to become the best version of yourself professionally, at least. And I think I admire such people, honestly. So there are many that you meet along the way on projects, in conversations, in meetings, and I admire that quality very much.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What are your views for the future of filmmaking, especially for women in our industry?
A lot more women today encompass the landscape of movies and OTT and TV and just the whole media and entertainment space. You would know that, Hetal, as well. There are women in very key positions, whether they're decision-making positions or whether they're execution positions, coordination positions, whatever you may say, there are important key roles. I see a lot more over time, especially in the last 5 years, 6 years, and I feel like more and more women executives would be great to have at some level, because I think the diligence with which certain things are delivered by them, I'm not generalizing, I just feel that, but not to take away from anybody else or any gender, but I think would be great to have them in let's say the execution and managerial roles. But in terms of creative, in terms of heading creatives, in terms of being directors, writers, directors, so important to have that voice. And that voice from a female perspective, but that is also not, I would say, over feminist or over trying to prove a point or trying to be like we are that gender that has been, because the idea is that is not going to reach a larger audience. You have to be very smart in the way you would like to tell your story, which will have a very strong female element to it, and your perspective, which is obviously the key. But it needs to be intelligently woven along with everything else that will have a deeper impact. And therefore, but I would still say that we would need a lot more push towards females overall. You're also
Yeah,
fighting centuries of patriarchy. You're fighting so much. So even a little change would be a good effort, I would say, in our lifetime.
yeah. You very rightly mentioned that there are very few female producers right now, but at the same time, you also gave the fact really very clear that we have to be in this industry, and women are doing really, really well with the qualities that they hone. I think this is one of the streams that they would do very well at the top management. And yes, you can see your future because you're right now seeing somebody who's 20 years in the industry and doing so successfully well. That is really commendable, Tanvi. It was very, very delightful to have you here. You have come up close and personal with sharing your views about filmmaking, about executive producer line, how films are in the Indian cinema scope as well as an Indian fraternity. It was really delightful. Last few words of advice for youngsters and for aspiring entertaining entertainers.
I think the main thing I would just say, yeah, I mean, who am I to really say it? But if I have to say something, I would just say you've got to just believe it. You just have to believe that you are here because there is a reason for you to be here and there's a story you have to tell. Now, that story can be told as the protagonist or the supporting cast or somebody at the back end. You're producing, you're directing, you're acting, or whatever. You are here as a collective to tell a story. Support each other and believe that is the reason for you to be here. It's a hustle. It's a really tough place, the city as well as the industry, but it's also very rewarding. And my main thing today to anybody after an experience that I've had over time, that led to some personal things as well, I would say is please find your balance. Please remember that life is also having fun, finding a partner, building another life, along with being on set. Try and find the balance because it's very easy to suddenly go into a space where you just look back and you're like, oh, I could have done this then, whatever. So have fun both ways is my little piece of advice.
So success, pleasure, work, life, purpose, live to the fullest.
Live to the
These are the few things
have fun.
that Tanvi Gandhi can sum up.
Have fun. Just find your fun and find your tribe. That's the thing.
Lovely, lovely to have you on board, Tanvi.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you so much for consideration for this. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you. Bye.